Hello, everyone. So we're going to be talking about the impact and contributions and business ventures. So for Tina Turner, she impacted a lot of people due to her years of domestic abuse. She began to inspire victims of domestic abuse by letting them know that no matter how long you've been together with the person or what's happening, you can in fact escape it. And yeah, I'm gonna pass it on to Madison.
Okay, so for Nina Simone, she had a huge impact in the civil rights movement. She got a lot of her ideas from Malcolm X um, with a more aggressive tone, like not holding back. She was actually neighbors with Malcolm X and her family. Her daughter grew up with his family as well. Um, so there was a specific moment in her Nina Simone's career that led her to start becoming involved in the civil rights movement. And that was through her recording of Mississippi Goddamn. She got the inspiration to write this song through multiple events that happened. So in 1963, the bombing on 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, it killed 4 young Black girls, and she was very infuriated by it. So she decided to write Mississippi Goddamn. And at the time, it was a very controversial piece. A lot of radio stations refused to play it, especially in the South. However, she went on to record more and more songs to help the civil rights movement and to really use her voice in it. She sang Strange Fruit, which is a very controversial song and was very popular. Um, as for people that have impacted her and who she has impacted, her husband was a very, I wouldn't say beneficial impact. He was very tough on her, but it did make her career grow in that case. She has a quote where she said that she kept thinking Andy would let her rest, and he never did. Andy is her husband, so he was very tough on her. And then she has impacted some other artists today, including Alicia Keys. This is a quote from Alicia Keys. It says, "I certainly owe a great deal to her inspiration. She began with the love of classical piano, just like me, and followed that passion to become one of the most important voices in American music and in American history." So she had a great impact on Alicia Keys' career as they both kind of grew up in the same musical journey. Now I will pass it on to Noah.
Yeah, so Aretha Franklin was also a very important figure in the civil rights movement. Not only did she use her voice to sing, but she also used her voice for social action and social change. Um, Aretha Franklin, she also regularly performed at civil rights events and was there supporting Martin Luther King Jr. during his rallies. Um, Later on, she was eventually awarded the Southern Christian Leadership Award for her dedicated work with Dr. King. And later on, when Martin Luther King was later assassinated, she would she would perform at Dr. King's funeral in 1968. And throughout her life, she would support charities like the feeding, like she would support charities like Feeding America, which funds more than 200 food banks nationwide, and childhood diabetes, which specializes in diabetes research. She wanted to make sure that other people had the healthcare access they needed, and yeah, so during her life, she was just very important, and she liked to help other people with her voice, and her her uh her work contributed to many African American upbringings and through their struggle. And uh, during the civil rights movement, she made the song "Respect," which was a demand for African American women that wanted their respect. and pushing for the civil rights movement. And yeah.
So going off of Aretha Franklin, Nina Simone, although she did not own any businesses, she did support a lot of organizations, and these included Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the Congress of Racial Equality, National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, and the Young Men's Christian Association, the YMCA.
Alicia Keys had a number of different businesses and ventures. In 2020, Alicia Keys released a book by Michelle Burford, which is a part narrative, part autobiography, which captures Alicia Keys' own candid recounting, as well as a vivid collection of people that have been by her side. Alicia Keys has also started a lifestyle beauty brand called Keys Soul Care, which was born from Alicia Keys' own personal skincare journey as well as her passion for bringing light in the world. Keys talks about her personal journey from self-censorship to full expression with skincare in her book, More Myself, A Journey. Keys also started a $1 billion endowment fund with a contribution from the NFL. The fund is to support Black communities and businesses. Keys said that we are already seeing the blatant injustices that are going on around us. Burford 2020. Keys continued to say, as an artist, I'm always thinking about how I can use my platform to further racial equality. The fund is one of the answers and is our goal to empower Black America through investing in Black businesses, Black investors, institutions, entrepreneurs, schools, and banks in a way to create sustainable solutions. Keys wants to help close the economic gap with sustainable action. It is clear that Keys uses her platform to support African Americans. I will now pass it on to Tatiana to talk about Tina Turner.
For Tina Turner, she was an author and a thespian. She has a show after her. It's still ongoing, so you can go see it. And she has multiple novels ranging from talking about her past, how to achieve happiness, and her current relationships. And Beyonce has multiple businesses. She has House of Darion, which is a clothing store, and it has high fashion like dresses, purses, like party outfits, and Ivy Park, which has athleisure and like exercise clothing. Yeah.
Yeah, and Aretha Franklin was also very creative with her business. But in the beginning, she was not thinking on the business side of things early in her career. But during throughout her life, she took business as a high priority in her musical career. And in 2015, Aretha Franklin reported 6 concerts to the Billboard box score with an average per show gross of $304,000 among bus rentals, gas, hotel rooms, and per diems. Moving Franklin and her entourage accounted for $50,000 to $100,000 in expenses. So that would mean that if you wanted Aretha Franklin to perform for you, you would have to abide by her terms, and usually her terms were non-negotiable. But in the end, it was worth it because she would give you a good show. And later on in her life, she would go on to establish Crown Productions, which would handle bookings for herself and her sons Teddy and Kikal.
And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed and thank you for listening.